Now, when you think of approaching a girl in an extremely crowded place, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind? You might think that, is she with her friends? Is anyone watching me? Are the people gonna come and beat me? Is she gonna reject me? Is she gonna shout and slap me? That is the first thoughts that will come to your mind. But today I'm gonna show you exactly how you can approach a girl in an extremely crowded place where there's no space to walk and still get her attracted and still get the number. So do hit the subscribe button and the bell button right next to it so you don't miss out any valuable content that can change your life.
Bro? Oh no.
Put your hands together. Bobby Ketchup in the house, everybody!
I love hairstyle, man. It's like, there are not a lot of people on the ball. This guy's hairstyle.
And the songs for so many decades.
What's your name?
And the song.
You guys from the same college? I don't know. What's your name? What's your name? I don't know. Wow, that's like a Japanese name, you know? Like, how is it going for you, man? It's been a great journey here. Are you stuck here? Have you been drinking?
So over here, what is happening is I'm just walking in the crowd like a shark, alright, and I'm just trying to spot the girl or just trying to approach anyone actually. And at that point, I see a bunch of people just sitting over there on the right, and I just approach them. Now, what a lot of guys do when they're in a very crowded situation, for example, a club, a bar. In this case, it's a concert, but what I've seen a lot of guys doing is, and maybe you've been doing this as well, is when you go to the field, when you go to a club, when you go to a bar, and you're always scanning around. Now, if you see how I'm moving, I'm not scanning around. I just approach the person on next to me. So if you're scanning around, you're losing a lot of value. You're losing a lot of value in the bar, in the club, in a concert, wherever you are. Now, most people ask me, how do you approach a group? How do you approach a girl who's with a guy? How is that possible? And guys, that's very simple, all right? There's two ways to go about it. If you see any signals from the girl, even if you lock eyes with the girl for a moment, all you need to do is go and talk to the girl straight away. Now, over here, I did not lock eyes with the girl. Instead, I just saw the guy. He had a weird hairstyle. I'm like, hey man, that's an amazing hairstyle. That's a lovely hairstyle. What's your name? You guys know how to party. Then I start introducing myself to the whole group. Now, what a lot of guys mess up on is basically not engaging the whole group. And you might be thinking, okay, I approached a girl who was with a friend, but the friend is pulling her away. Why does this happen? Now, this usually happens when you don't address the whole group, when you disregard the whole group and you just focused on the girl. So over here, I'm introducing myself. And guys, this is more like a warm-up to me. I'm not even attracted to that girl. And these are four guys just sitting with the girl. These are nice guys. So I don't even want to steal the girl away at that point of time. And you see how I built instant rapport with the guy. And that is what is missing in a lot of people's game, is because they think, why would I learn how to talk to a guy if I'm going to learn this craft, this skill of approaching girls? Now, one thing you have to understand, in a country like this where we live, girls are going to go out with men, all right? There's going to be mixed groups. There's going to be a bunch of girls. You'll hardly find a single girl ever. And if you're just thinking, hey, I just want to approach that single girl, I want to hunt that single girl like a fucking prey, man, come on. That's really gonna happen. Really gonna find single girls. You're gonna lose out on big pool of girls you're actually attracted to, and you're limiting your own growth. You're limiting your own mindset. I mean, just go there and approach a group, all right? Don't be sexual. Just go there and try to talk to a group once before you become sexual, before you can actually try to game the girl, so to speak. Just try to approach the group, try to have a good conversation with the group. And over here, I'm just doing a warm-up. I do the warm-up, I'm talking to the guy, build instant rapport with the guy. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do you build instant rapport with men? And over here, if you see, the guy is, very comfortable. He's like hugging me like I'm his best friend, and I've just met him like 30 seconds ago. And the funny thing is, guys, think about it. When was the last time anyone complimented you? Now, a funny story comes to my mind. I went to this girl's, friend's birthday party, and this was an online date. This was the first online date I had with her. I went to the birthday party, and the guy just comes in and he's like, oh, you're the guy who complimented me. He remembered me after 2 fucking years. So understand how powerful it is when you give a compliment to a guy, because probably has never heard that compliment that night, right? So think about it yourself, man. When was the last time you got complimented on the road? I mean, if I think about myself, man, maybe never, maybe just once. So think about it. That builds instant rapport. And of course, now I'm on the good books of the guy's side, and I've approached the guy. I introduced myself to the whole group, because that is rule number one of being social. If you're approaching the group, you have to talk to the whole group. You have to address the whole group instead of just focusing on the girl. So even if you look, my eye contact is with one guy, with the other guy, with the third guy. I'm getting all the names. It's not like I'm skipping out on someone just because he has a dick and she has a vagina. I'm just focused on her. That's not how this shit works. So after that, I have a 1-minute conversation with them, and I realized that this is not what I'm up for. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to break their hearts as well. Maybe some guy likes her and shit, and I'm not even that attracted, so I don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, let's move on. Now, what a lot of guys also do is, as soon as they approach, they're like, oh, I approached a girl, you're not gonna get any award for it. Man, come on, move to the next one. Because at the end of the day, the more time you spend with yourself, just roaming around in the concert, in the pub, in a bar, you're gonna have a negative thought loop. So to stop that negative thought loop, you have to take so much action that your brain completely shuts off the thinking side. And what happens after that is it's just a lot of momentum. It's just a lot of approaches. So that's what you need to aim at, instead of just, approaching one particular group or one person, then taking 10 minutes off, talking to your friend, talking to your wing, and then going for another approach. I do it like a shark, man. I'm doing one approach, I'm doing another approach, I'm doing another approach. That's my rule. Minimize the time between interactions.
How was he? No, my name is that? What do you do?
Not too old, but just old for me.
I have a wife
10
and I
year
have
old.
kids.
What?
I have a wife and I have kids.
So I'm walking over there, super crowded, there's bunch of people on the right, bunch of people on the left, and this is a horrifying situation for a person who's just starting out, because the thoughts you have is like, oh, people are watching me, maybe the girl is with her friends, and anything can happen, man. And if you want to build true core confidence, you need to actually get in those situations, handle those situations, so that next time you enter those situations, you're very calm and centered. And for me, it's all about perspective. So if I feel that, oh, people are watching, I also feel that let's give them a good show. If I feel that she's with her friends, I'd like to know her friends. I'd like to be friends with her friends. It's all about perspective. If you think that the friends are going to be hostile, they are going to be hostile, because you are going to act subconsciously in a way which is going to piss them off. They're going to take their friend away, and then they're going to be hostile to you. Now, a lot of guys who are going out there, want to approach some girls, they're thinking about, hey, what is the best line that I can use? There's no best line. A girl is never going to sleep with you because of the starting line that you use. What matters is the 20 to 30 seconds after you have initiated the conversation, because that is when you set the right frame for the conversation. You set a conversational frame where you want the conversation to go. Now, in this case, I spoke to the girl and asked her, have I seen you somewhere before? Oh, have not? It's not enough. Simple as that. So don't overcomplicate things. It's all about your vibe. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It's all about how you're saying it. And how I'm saying it is like a fucking gentleman. Hey, it's not enough. Nice to meet you. I'm already assuming that why wouldn't she say hi to me? Why wouldn't she tell me her name? Now, a lot of guys who are starting out, they have this negative belief that if I open a girl or if I talk to a girl, she's not going to respond to me. And then what happens is they act in a way, they don't assume that she's going to respond. So always when you're trying to talk to a girl, assume that she'll be attracted to you. Understand that you also have some value. Alright, don't think that the girl is on a pedestal, you have no value. So understand that you also have to value and assume attraction. Why won't she be attracted to you if you talk to her? Now, when I'm talking to her, it's just a very basic conversation that we're having, and it's a basic banter. It's sort of my routine that I have with girls is like, guess my age. And she's like 26. I'm like, you're so nice. Now, Guys, don't think about the words I'm saying, but look at my facial expressions, alright? I know you can't see the girl's facial expressions, because if you see the girl's facial expressions, probably I'll be behind the bars. Look at my facial expressions, look at how much fun I'm having when I'm talking to this girl, and look at how I'm playing with my facial expressions. One moment is like, this, and the other moment is I'm smiling. So there's a lot of emotional transference that is happening, and it's called law state transference, which basically means whatever state I'm feeling, whatever emotional state I'm in, the girl is gonna feel emotions at the same wavelength, and that is what is happening over here. Now, I used my facial expressions, my eye contact, my body language to express myself, and that is what is missing out on a lot of people's game. Is basically they're going there and they're being extremely bland. Hey, it's nice to meet you, what's your name? There's no expressions, there's no emotion behind whatever they're saying, and that is what you need if you want to have good game. Is you need to fully express yourself. Each one of you has game, alright? There's only a lot of social conditioning barriers that is blocking it from coming out. So as soon as I focus on the girl, I can see her body language movements, which shows me that she's actually interested in me. And guys, if you've not watched the body language videos yet, I strongly suggest you do. I'll add a link over here. Click the link and check it out. Now I can see that she's interested in me, and now it's time to play with the girl. So I'm like, hey, am I too old for you? Now with that, the girl is saying, no, you're not too old, you're too old for me. Now that is a shit test, alright? That is how girls test you, and there's various ways you can pass a shit test, but over here what I do is either you exaggerate it or you undermine it completely. Now I've also made a video specifically on shit test. If you want, check it out. I'll add a link over here. So I passed the shit test by telling her, hey, listen, I have 2 kids and a wife. Like, you got married early, and that's the basic banter we are having. Now what I'm doing is, from just having a very basic conversation, I'm pumping the emotional state of the girl. Now I also want you to focus on the girl's voice tonality, which is basically going in a seeking rapport, which also shows me that she's attracted to me. She's like, really? Now it's going up at the end, and that's called a seeking rapport. And generally you will have seeking rapport when you're talking to someone who you are seeking some validation from. And in this case, when the girl has seeking rapport when she's talking to you, that means that she's attracted to you. It's an indicator of interest. Now moving on, let's see what happens.
Might be your age, I don't know.
Oh my god! You got married early or what?
How's your day going so far?
It's bad. I don't know what it's before it's bad. But now I'm doing my own company.
Is it because of me?
No.
Oh my god, it's alright. I enjoy keeping my daughters as well.
You're like this.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
No, you should not. Why would you be scared?
I know. You're studying.
I am a teacher.
I am a coach.
You know what? I really thank Shivani Kashyap for coming
I
all the
coach
way
people globally.
to the. She's done so many awards, so many Bollywood movies, the superstar. And one more song for you, one more song with us. Can you sing?
In what?
Now the music is extremely loud over here, so I have to be in really close proximity to the girl, alright? Because she's inaudible, and you need to understand, if you're going to a loud music environment, you need to pay attention to the 3 pillars, alright? The 3 pillars of pre-approach, as I like to call it. And these 3 pillars are fairly simple, and it's hygiene, fashion, as well as your grooming. These 3 things need to be on point, because when you're talking to a girl in a very loud music environment, you're very close with her, alright? You're playing with the proximity. She can smell you, she can see you, she can observe you, and that is the first experience she has of you. So over here, it's important to focus on these 3 things. Now I'm not telling you to wear Gucci, I'm not telling you to wear extremely luxurious clothing. All I'm telling you is be presentable. Be presentable, try to take a shower before you're going out. And a pro tip is always carry mints and chewing gum. Now chewing gum I would not carry with me, because when you're chewing gum you look like a fucking camel, man. So it's not really attractive if you're chewing a gum while talking to a girl. And my personal suggestion is Listerine mint strips. And that really helped me personally in my journey, and I'm sure that will help you in your journey. Basically some strips that will dissolve in your mouth, and it will be an extreme mint flavor. So what happens over here, I'm talking to the girl, she's talking to me. Now you can see her body language changing, alright? From being centered, she's like a bee running around the hive, and that shows that she's attracted to me. Now I'm having a basic conversation, but when I'm having a basic conversation, my verbal play, my verbal game, so to speak, is always trying to change the dynamic, change the buyer-seller dynamic. Because the society tells us that we have to sell ourselves or we have to chase the girls, but the reality is completely different. You can change the buyer-seller dynamic during the conversation itself. So I ask her, how's your day going? She's like, no, it's bad. I'm like, now it's going to be a lot better since I'm here, and maybe this is what you were waiting for or something. And you need to understand that when you're trying to compare your value with a girl, you always have greater value than her. at least in your life. Because at the end of the day, each person in his own life will have more value than the other person. And what I mean is, in your life, you have more value because you're the only one adding value to your life, all right? The girl is not adding any significant value in your life. So why do you place her on a pedestal? Why do you think that, oh, this girl is out of my league, all right? Why can't you be out of her league? So try this next time. Whenever you're talking to a girl, try to change the buyer-seller dynamic. And also, I do this sometimes when I'm talking to a girl, and if she's flirting with me, I'm like, hey, listen, sweetheart, let's take it a little slow. I don't want to wake up pregnant tomorrow. Now, this is also one way I change the buyer-seller dynamic, and it also adds a fun vibe to the whole conversation. With the buyer-seller dynamic, I'm also using another concept called the ball of energy. Whatever the girl is throwing in this ball of energy, all my job is to take it to a fun direction. So let's see what happens next.
Like, what is it? Training, like for exercise, like what are you coach for?
I've been thinking about making
What are you coach for? Are you on Instagram or what? Like, what is it?
I am,
I like Instagram.
oh, okay, lost my phone.
I am very clever.
Oh my god! I lost my fucking phone. Oh, got it. Friends around.
Instagram.
So at this point, it was a pretty funny incident that happened. Now, I gave my phone to the person who was recording my Infields, and he had to make a call. He was not getting a signal. So I forgot about it because I was doing back-to-back approaches, and I didn't have my phone. And I checked my, I checked my pockets, and I'm like, fuck, I lost my phone. All my client information, all the non-disclosure agreements, all the chats. I'm like, fuck. It was one of the biggest freakouts for me, actually, man. I mean, I thought this is the end of my life. And suddenly, because of his awareness, he comes in and he passes me the phone. I get my phone and the girl's like, oh, how'd you get your phone? I'm like, I have friends around. I didn't know what to say, all right? I didn't know what to say. You can see how her body language is changing, how she's getting attracted. And guys, one thing I want to point out over here with the phone thing is when you're trying to approach girls, when you're trying to talk to girls, learn about social skills, you need a lot of awareness. You need a lot of awareness because you need to see the environment. I'm not saying that you need to calibrate how to approach the girl, but when you're talking to the girl, you need to see the environment. If her friends are coming in, hey, nice to meet you, what's your name? Instead of the friends reacting to you first initiate the conversation with them. So you need a good awareness if you want to learn this skill. There are many methods you can improve your awareness. One of that is definitely meditation. There are a lot of other methods that you can improve your awareness. So over here, of course, the guy who's recording my Infield, he was aware enough to give me the phone, and to my luck, I got the phone and then asked for the number with this girl, and this girl is like, no, I'll give you the Instagram. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't use Instagram that much. And again, we're having that banter. Personally, I would never settle for an Instagram. I would never settle for an Instagram if I'm approaching a girl. All the guys you see on YouTube, all the guys you see accepting Instagrams, I mean, it's just fake, man. Because what I've realized, and we have tested this multiple times, everything that I'm telling you, I go out to the field, I practice it, and then I give it to you. I've tested the funnel of Instagram, I've tested the funnel of phone numbers. Guys, girls will give their Instagrams to anyone. Any fucking guy, they'll give their Instagrams. They want to increase their social media following. They have their Instagrams on fucking Tinder, alright? They have their Instagrams on their profiles, they have their Instagrams on their Bumble profiles just to increase their followers. So what makes you think that you're any special? So I would never trade a girl's Instagram. I would always tell her, no, I don't want your Instagram. But if that is the only thing I have to settle with, I'll still not settle with it. Instead, I'll not close the girl. Now, I don't want you to do that because you're learning, you're in the learning phase right now. So try this for yourself, all right? Experience the Instagram funnel for yourself. Now, I know it might work for some people. It might work for people who have really good Instagrams. It might work sometimes for me as well. But at the end of the day, you viewers, alright, if you don't have a good Instagram, which basically means like 1,000, 2,000 followers and good amount of pictures, real nice pictures depicting a story about your lifestyle, I would suggest staying away from the Instagram funnel, which is getting the girl's Instagram, trying to get her out on the date, because you'll have the lowest probability of getting her out on the date. And I knew one of my assistant coaches, this guy got like, I think 50 Instagrams and he got like 2 dates out of that. I got like 10 numbers and I get like 7 dates out of that. So you can see the numbers don't make sense. So I would never settle for an Instagram. Let's see what happens next.
I use what do you say?
This is a generation shit. I think you're Instagram, but I never text you there.
Put your hands together for Shivani, everybody!
Now I understand you can't probably hear too much in the last part, but guys, that is what happens in a loud music environment, alright? And it's very hard to communicate if you're just using your verbal play, which is your verbal game. If you're just trying to talk to her, hold a conversation, it's pretty hard to talk to a girl in a loud music environment. You have to fully express yourself. You have to use your body language, you have to use your facial expressions, and that's how you completely express yourself. And you need to work on your non-verbal communication. So I used to go to a club, and just with the sole purpose of approaching girls in front of the speaker. And why I did that was because when I started out, I had decent amount of verbal game because I started out with day game, but then as I transitioned to night game, I was like, how do I talk to girls in a bar? How do I talk to girls in a club? They can't even hear me. And my voice was a little squeaky at that time. Hey, excuse me, how are you? So it was like that. And guys, what happened was that squeaky voice just didn't pass through. The girls could not even hear me, so they did not acknowledge me. And that's what I realized, I need to work on my tonality. Now, how do you work on your tonality? Now, there are many methods to work on your tonality. For me, the best method was approaching girls in front of a speaker and trying to cut through them. Basically, I was thinking I'm talking to the person behind them, and that's how I improved my voice tonality. And also there are many activities that you can do. You can search on YouTube some voice coaches and they'll help you with the voice tonality bit. But another thing is the free flow association, and if you don't know about it, I'll add a link over here. You can check out this video. This video will help you learn the free flow association, which in turn will help you work on your voice tonality. Another thing I want to mention is why most closes don't happen, why most men who are approaching girls in a loud music environment are not able to get the number, because the conversation is so bland. When they go to a loud music environment, the girl can barely hear them and the conversation is very bland. What I mean is, when they're talking to the girl, there's no expression behind the voice, there's no emotion behind the voice. So you need to have emotions behind your voice. Whatever you're saying, you need to mean it. So also have a challenging vibe. Instead of having a very serious tone, try to have a very playful tone. So for example, if I'm asking a girl in a very bland way, hey, what's your name? Hey, what's your name? Now, this is just a subtle difference, but this creates massive amounts of difference, specifically in a loud music environment, because you're able to express yourself through your facial expressions, through your eye contact, and through the look on your face. And it creates the right playful vibe which you need to attract girls in a loud music environment. Now, if you guys want to learn more about non-verbal and verbal communication, you want to improve your personality, you want to learn how to approach women, get on a consultation call with my team and let's see if you're a good fit to work together. And also guys, I'm going to add a link to the training video I created. It's a 50 minutes free training video and it's going to be extremely helpful. Now, if you guys still want to know more about us, still want to know more about our client results, check out this video, and this video is going to lead you to the client results.